In this video, I should get the front sprocket off the other side of the main shaft and should be able to get the gearbox cluster out. It's for my T140V Desert Sled Rester mod project. If you're following along, you'll know already, and I'm doing it in nice little chunks so that anyone else who's following along and was looking for a specific bit would have at least a chance of finding it quite easily. Last time, you might remember, I was so chuffed that I thought I had the right tool for the sprocket, but now I have got the right tool. Not 1 5/8, but 1 7/8. So let's put it into action, get that sprocket off, get this cluster out and have a quick look at it. So let's get it turned back round. Really must get a new surface for this. I'd like stainless steel. I must think about getting something like that. But anyway. So my new socket, or tool anyway, it's a little bit tight, so let's just make sure we get it on well. That's looking good. I need something to hold that. Ideally I'd use a chain. I haven't actually got one to hand, so let's see what I can do. Probably that will probably do it, I would think. So let's see. Going that way. Oh yeah, nice and easy. He thinks. Let's just go. Yeah. That's the nut off. Mustn't forget the washer. There we go. Right, so actually looks reasonably worn. Now I'll turn it back around so I can play on the other side. It's important that I remember all of the parts and how they go together in here, so I will have to be fairly careful as I'm taking it apart. So you've got a thrust washer and a dog, and we've got a circlip that I'll need to take off there. You possibly can't see it, but this circlip is actually not in the groove it's supposed to be in. It's actually a little bit back. Let me just pull it to that's where it should be. Now, frustratingly, even when you've got what ostensibly is the right tool, just not quite thin enough to get into them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hook it off, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and hook it off using some point little doodads. I'm sure I'll do it. Turn it around a bit. Hook onto that. Yep. Turn it around a bit more. He says. Hook onto that. Turn it around a bit more. I think we're nearly there. And then literally the last bit. Come on. There we are. I just slide it forward now. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. Next, I think I take this rod out. which then means I should be able to pick that up, and with a bit of luck this should all come out in one. There we go. And then I've got that one. Keep them all the right way around. And I think I can take that out. Left a few bits behind. Let's see what happens. There we go. I'll just shove that back onto the shaft. Next, I think if I push that up there, so that comes out, so that's the second one. And we can get that one out as well. I need to remember which ones are which for these. And that. And I have to have a quick look. I think it might be the detent that's holding it in place. So let's get that out next. That's the detent that I think is holding in this plate from moving. So I'll undo that from underneath. And I've also got the fifth top gear to come out as well. For now, I do want to try and keep everything into the kind of order that it was in before I took it out. So this should be on here, I do believe. Okay, so let's get these other parts out. That's hard. So that I can get at it better, I decided to put it on its side, which is not a problem, apart from I hadn't drained the sump, and all the oil from the sump started to pour out from the top of the crankcase. So I've had a bit of a clean up, and now I've put something underneath to catch whatever's left in there, which is virtually none of it compared to what came out. Not to worry. It's 3/4, and I'd love to be able to get an impact gun on there, but honestly I can't. Let's hope this doesn't cause any problems just giving it a tap with a hammer. There we go. If in doubt, get a bigger hammer. There we go. And like I said, that's the only thing that was holding this plate in. And that's for the gear change. Where the front sprocket connects onto, which is the fifth gear actually on the other side, the manual says you should be able to drive it out with a hide mallet or a soft punch. Let's just see what happens. And they were right. Not hide, nylon, but I think they did have nylon when these were made. And with that coming out, that's the gearbox emptied. Now, there is a thrust washer on there, and it's worth taking note that the lines on it are to the side where the actual shaft would go in. While I've actually got the gear cluster out, for my own sanity, because I'll be honest, it doesn't look like it should ever work, I do have a little bit of a look more than just checking it over. And as you can see, the selector plate fits into the selector guides, and as this turns it will move these left and right, which will move the actual gears about. And the gears are actually in mesh, I think, all the time. The thing that changes is, you can see these big square bits, they're called dogs. It's the dogs that link together, and it's them that get damaged. So just getting into clear into your head which selector goes where and what order the gears are in. Now I'll be honest, when I clean this and inspect it, I'll keep it in exactly the order that it's in. And when I've done 4-speed boxes before, I basically just put it back as I found it and it's been okay. They can be difficult to get it to register which way the gears are to start off with. The indexing of it, I can remember there was a lot of fiddling with that. The other thing that's of interest is the detent. Well, that's neutral, so when this is at the bottom of the case and that bit's here, that would put it into neutral. And as you change gear, it's where these little dints stick that keep it in gear, so you can see how important that is. On earlier ones they had a leaf spring which was notorious for breaking, and this has frequently been a modification done on earlier bikes as well, where they've tapped a hole into the crankcase so that it was in the right place. Right, well, I'm stopping there. That's my gear cluster out. It actually came out quite easily. I only actually needed one special tool. It doesn't actually look that special. And it was from Lancashire Classic Bikes. I ordered it on eBay and it was with me within 16 hours. And when you think it came from the other side of the country, that's pretty good. So well done to them. I will put a link to this particular tool in the description, but I can only recommend them. So where am I at next? Well, I'm going to put this to one side. I will give it a check over as well. I do have to replace that main shaft. I have bought one, whether it's the right one or not, I'm not sure. I found out what the part number was for the inner last time, and that led to a bit of confusion, because the part number seems to be for a 4-speed box. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I'll talk about that at some point in the future. Probably into the timing cover next, so not really a million miles away from splitting the cases. Might even turn the corner on this within 2 or 3 weeks, if I keep up the pace that I'm doing at the moment. Thanks very much for watching. Do subscribe, do give us a like if it was useful to you, and follow along.